Good evening. In our news bulletin tonight, government has approved a proposal to bury asbestos on the island, but say they will continue to pursue the option for off-island removal. The Secretary to Government, Richard Hipper, says that the asbestos project has taken quite some time and something needs to be done in the interim. There are also concerns from residents at Hui Hui due to the close proximity of the current asbestos storage site to their homes, and this has prompted the department and government to revisit the original proposal. Explorations into the option of removal off-island revealed that the costs would be phenomenal and the process may take some time. Mr. Hipper says in the meantime, they are working closely with the ministers and the Environment Division to look at sourcing safety gear and equipment. They're also looking to tender out labour, but the overall project supervision will be with the Environment Department. The focus will be to collect the asbestos lying around in the villages to be buried, and that the removal of asbestos from roofs will be another phase of the project. Once the safety gear and work program is confirmed, then they can review the issue once again. But the project is incomplete, and it may take some time as there is a lot of work ahead. Details as to when this will start and how much asbestos will be buried is uncertain, but there have been investigations into a suitable site for burial, and consultations with landowners are ongoing. As the 43rd Pacific Island Forum Leaders meeting comes to a close in the Cook Islands, there have been extensive discussions on a range of regional issues, and just a few highlights from that meeting. Premier Takitalangi believes that small island states are set to benefit from China's growing influence in the Pacific. Niue has seen some of the benefits with funding from China for development of the airport terminal, boosted security at the airport, and also plans for a hotel to be built with Chinese funds. Premier Talangi also highlighted the dilemma facing the island at the moment is that Niueans are not necessarily looking at Niue as a place for investment, but other people are, and the government is trying to figure out how Niue can cope with an influx of people who wish to come and live in Niue. These sentiments are also shared by other developing Pacific states, such as Samoa. Samoa Prime Minister Tuilai Pasailele Malielegaoi says that China has brought a unique flexibility with its assistance to developing Pacific island states. And the theme of this year's meeting is Large Ocean Island States. The Pacific Challenge has highlighted the issue of exclusive economic zone boundaries between states. And the Cook Islands is one of the first countries in the world to enact the Seabed Minerals Act 2009, which will commence in March 2013. The launching of the regional legislative and regulatory framework for deep-sea mining in Rarotonga this week by the Deputy Prime Minister Tom Masters said that the act was designed to regulate any future seabed mining activities within the Cook Islands EEZ, in particular the island's huge manganese nodules resources. And Australia has announced that it is contributing $414 million to get more women into Parliament in the Pacific and improve economic opportunities and safety for women. Australia's first female Prime Minister, Julia Gillard, says gender equality isn't just about fairness to women, but also about economic development. She says if there is a better distribution of agricultural work between men and women around the world, 150 million more people would be nourished. Niue's delegation is due to return tomorrow with our reporter Mona Ainuu, who will be doing an extensive report on the forum next week. One of the Niue Power Corporation's engines is getting a major overhaul this week, with 2 engineers from Gulf and Hammer on the island to assist with maintenance. There are 4 engines at the corporation, and the standard checks will be done on rotation, with an estimated 10 to 11 months in between checks of each of the engines.
We installed this engine in 2006. It is now due for a major overhaul by recommendation from the manufacturer. If it's more than 1.2 million liters, 1.2 million liters. It should undergo a major overhaul. Now it's using about 1.3, but we are running it not on a very maximum, but low. So two of the engineers from Gulf Coast Hammer arrived last week, and they worked during the weekend with some of our boys and some of Public Works. And this week they will be reassembling the engine, and hopefully by the end of the week or weekend, early next week, we'll fire it up and see and put it online. This project cost about 140,000 to 150,000. There will be some parts to be looked at, and there will be some saving, hopefully. Some will be reused again, but it costs about 140 to 150,000. It's some indication that the cost is a little bit high, but I have also informed the engineers that the government is looking at bringing down the cost. We have 4 engines. One is shut down for service now, and the other 3 are online to supply power to the nation. So no, it won't affect, unless those 3 have some problem. But now everything is running smoothly.
Despite the fact that there may be some parts that will have to be taken to New Zealand, the benefits of practical training for staff at Niue Power is a bonus compared to previous years where only 1 staff member would take the parts for checks in New Zealand. General Manager Speedo Hetitu says that this week's exercise is also a capacity building opportunity for staff from Niue Power and the Mechanical Division of Public Works.
It's under capacity building, and now the government would like to streamline. If we need some staff from Public Works, they can be available to come, and so same as Niue Power. If they need some help from us, we will go and help. So that is the main aim, just for them to familiarize and maybe learn a thing or two from this project. We used to send the whole engine before last 10 years, but we changed it in order to have our staff here learn something from the major overhaul. Before, we can only manage to send down 1 staff with the engine. If we do it here, all the staff will benefit, but the other side is that some of the areas will not be thoroughly checked. So we might be looking at doing like what we do before, but we'll see on this time round.
Speedo says the regular maintenance will mean that a near brand new engine will be ready to go on service to help with the load of supplying power to the island with fuel efficiency. There are 3 engines operating at the power station, while 1 is getting work done this week. Speedo says power supply to the island will not be affected, and the project will cost about $140,000 to $150,000. The Water Supply Division has called on the public to use water wisely. This follows the Disaster Council's Drought Watch announcement last week. The low rainfall and dry soil moisture on the island has the division appealing to the public to take preventative measures. Water Supply Division Head Andre Siohane says that although the water levels are reasonably sufficient, taking precautionary measures will ensure that there will be enough water for all to use, however long this drought period may last. Some of the tips and practices for water conservation measures from the Water Supply Division include that to refrain from using sprinklers, collecting and reusing water for watering and dampening plants at homes by using water from the washing machine or sink after washing dishes. Public cooperation is also being sought to inform the Water Supply Division of any leaks or supply issues to minimize the effects of the drought conditions and not to burn out the pump motors. The division will continue to monitor water levels, especially water tanks in some villages that are a bit low at the moment. Yesterday, it was time for junior students of Niue High School to speak out in the Year 7 to 9 English speech competition. Judges were impressed with the level of confidence, enthusiasm, and quality of thought put into speeches and the variety of topics. In the Year 7 age group, Teresa Hepper took 3rd placing with her speech based on dengue fever. Saraya Mangawa took a more festive topic on Christmas that saw her take second placing. And in first placing, that went to Haven Siosikefu with her view on love.
Love is free. Love is a feeling that all humans need to live and survive from day to day. It's like chocolate. It's a comfort we must have. If you don't have any love in your heart, you'll live a very miserable life. We were created from love, and we must live in love and show love in all we do and say.
In the Year 8 category, there was an interesting mix of topics from human rights, women's rights, ill-mannered youth, poverty, fear and four elements, to name a few. But Gemma Paka reflected on whether religion and politics should mix, gaining her third placing. In second place was Shailene Tohovaka, reflecting on human rights. But it was Selina Tongatule's speech that had the crowds entertained, simply titled, I Am Tomorrow.
Every day. Tomorrow you want to be an athlete, but then the day after tomorrow you want to be something else. Your mind can choose the right one. As you grow up, you don't want to be the same thing. Every day it changes, and every day it gets better and better. The honest truth is, I still have no idea what I have for my tomorrow. I have no idea at all, other than right now I'm now enjoying the warmth and comforts of my parents, a free education provided by the government, and throw in a number of overseas trips, also compliments of the parents who wants to leave all that.
In the final category was the Year 9 students. There was a tie for third to Janice Kaifoto talking about the youth of today and Audrey Ruthie Baka on peer pressure. Saveli Pravihi took second placing with his speech based on Facebook. Taking out top honours for Year 9 went to Ricardo Williams with his topic on climate change.
Climate change is caused by factors that include oceanic processes such as oceanic circulation, variation into solar radiation received by Earth, plate tectonics and volcano eruption, and human-induced alteration from the natural world. These later effects are currently causing global warming and climate change. It is often used to describe human-specific impacts.
Judges encouraged students to continue with their oratory skills in building confidence, but especially to the male contestants who were few in numbers this year. These speeches will be broadcasted on television Niue. And that's where we end our news bulletin for tonight. We do hope that you enjoy the weekend ahead, especially with the Tuapa Uhumotu show day this coming Saturday.